Hi guys, how's it going? I'm AWV, and today is a little bit of a different vid from what you used to see on this channel, besides music of course. So recently I asked on Twitter if I bothered to do sort of a breakdown vid, if anyone would watch it, and thanks to the amazing amount of responses, thank you Sam, we've decided we're going to give it a try. So yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so firstly, before I need to note that I'm not used to this sort of videos setup. Like, I don't normally do this sort of thing, so forgive me if I'm rusty, if I'm a bit awkward, and if there are really random pauses. I'm just gonna kind of try and do this like all the way through, and so yeah, forgive me if I'm not up to scratch with the modern day YouTube world. It's not really my thing, but I thought I'd give this a go. So yeah. So today we're going to be breaking down Timefall VIP. It was recently, excuse me, English. It was recently released on the Half-Hour project as part of Game and Friends Helping Hands Volume 1, the remixes, along with a few other guys like Quest, Dylan, Psychotic, and all those guys on there. Yeah, definitely go and check out the package because it's really, really good for a lot of beginners as well. On there, like AU and a couple of others, but yeah, a lot of the remixes on there are pretty good standards. So yeah, they're definitely worth a listen. All right, let's get into it. So I'm just gonna go from absolute scratch. We're gonna just break down, look at the file. I'm gonna show you a couple of patterns. Not really gonna show you any bass presets because I want to keep that a secret because I did make a few of those sounds myself. And for now, I just want to keep them a secret. If hopefully that's okay by you. All right, so let's begin. Now, this is the project file for Timefall VIP. Or I could outdo all these automations, I guess, just to show you a lot of what we've got going here. Yeah, there we go. So just a bunch of sort of serum automation. Well, there's one thing I need to fix actually. Was that? I think it was this. Just quickly automate volume because I had to change these to audio just to make sure it wouldn't lag like absolute crap. Oh, I just want that there. Delete that one. There we go. And that's all the way you need for that, I think. Yes. Oh, we've got to put it here as well. Where is it? Forgive me, just doing some messing around, just cleaning up a little bit. Yep, there we go. Oh, I have to render that as an audio file. Bear with me, just real quick. That's one of the base patterns. I'd just rather have them as audio because it's going to lag like crap if I don't. Hopefully this doesn't lag too much. Forgive me if it does. I really can't do much about that, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. This should all be on sidechain anyway, so... Let's just double check that. Pattern 11. Put this on 46, I believe. Yeah, 46. There we go. Alright, now, this here is the audio file. This is the beginning. So I'm just going to play the beginning a little bit and I'll talk about what happens there. So what this is here is actually, this is actually from the original Timefall. Like, I actually went into the old project file and started working with where I could go for a VIP, and I decided to go with electro because it's one of my favorite genres, and it's so fun to make. I just decided, you know what, let's change a couple of things here and there. So I went in and changed the tempo, changed the key back to the original key for the vocals, which we'll get into in a second. These are down here some clock effects, obviously. And I cannot believe that I did not add these in the original song. I just didn't think of it at the time. I guess before I actually made this song, before I called it Timefold. So, anyway. These are a pain in the bum to stretch out. It took a little bit of time, but we finally got somewhere. And they're pretty simple. They just sound like this. There's one. Oh. Here's the second one. Thought it fitted with the theme really well. And there's one, which is not playing. There we go. And altogether they sound like this. Yep, pretty simple. So the beginning here, we'll play through this beginning. I might be able to show you. Hang on, I might be able to show you the original file that we had as well if we have time for that. So anyway, let's go. Very simple, plucky, reverby, delay beat there. Very good rhythm. I love this rhythm so much. That's why I went with it immediately. It was like love on first play. Love on first hear, I guess you could call it. So now, from this part here, we're about to hear a distant sort of reverbed ARP, which I'll show you in a minute. This was going to be in the original song, but didn't make the final cut because Gabe changed it from what it was going to be in the second drop. He got rid of it, so I don't think he liked it that much. So I thought, you know what? Let's give it some light and make it in the VIP. So you can see it's sort of coming it now. And it's that thing there. The only thing that's in there is not from the original sample, this, which is a reverse kick. AU5 reverse kick. And I just cut off the front so it doesn't sound all white noisy when it gets to that part. Everything else is pretty much from the original song, which I've just... And yeah, it just goes. It just keeps going. Time for VPS. That's the beginning. This is an automation for EQ. Once it gets to the vocals, the bass comes down a little bit, I think. Whereabouts is the original? Yeah, where is it located? Here. I think that's it. Yeah. I brought the bass down so it sounds a little bit. Because if it was up, it'll just cover everything. Because this bass is actually an 808, which has been really cleverly made. Well, cleverly. I guess moderately made into a sort of a punchy bass line. And yeah, so the only real thing I have on this project here is an EQ, so we can change the bass line, and a wave shaper, so it sounds a little bit louder once we get into the mix here. And the mix here actually starts with this. Oh my god, why are you lagging? Oh my god. Should not be doing that. Why are you lagging? Actually, why are you lagging? Oh, it's the white noise. It's the white noise. I'll just take that out. Why are you doing that? Come on! That's annoying. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, so you get the picture. It starts from this sort of area. If anything, I'll probably play it in the background. Yeah. We'll have a look at the vocals now, just on their own. Farisha's really good vocals. Shouts to Gabe for getting me onto her. Don't you see? Time is running out for me. So on these, as you can see, there's a lot of them because this thing is a pain in the ass to stretch out and equalize, because it's whenever I try and get it sorted, something just does not fit. So I had to do this sliced up and make everything unique manually. It was quite frustrating, but I've had to do it more than once as well. I think a couple of times. Yeah. There's, I think, 15, 16 versions of this vocal sample. Which is frustrating, but anyway. Let's hear it. Don't you see? Time is running out for me. Don't you see? Push it to the edge and I'll fall. Ah, yeah, and there's a little bit of vocal chop melody here, which is in the original, which I'll play now. Did you hear that? We can go back and have a look at it if you like. But yeah, so I made that vocal chop in the original song, and I thought, you know what, let's actually keep it. I mean, it sounds a little bit awkward when you're playing from... But I just went with it. It sounds cool anyway, so I wasn't really going to complain too much. And yeah, that was probably my first attempt at making vocal chops, and I feel like it went pretty well, actually. There is another vocal chop melody over here, which we'll talk about in a second. Alright, so that's really all we need to talk about. I guess I could show you what's on these vocals. So number 44. Literally just for this start vocals, because I didn't want them to... I want them to be shown, but I didn't want them to overlap the original sample. I just had an EQ there with literally nothing on it. I didn't really mess with anything, and I just put a straight OTT on it. Messed around with some of the settings here. We can play it for a little bit if you like.
Don't you see? Time is running out.
So I had a bit of a depth of 50%. I usually keep it at 50 because I feel like that's enough, but it's not too much. Time 100, -8, and then +12. It actually works really well. Like if you even this out, it can sound very nice. And yeah, I've adjusted this a little bit here so it doesn't sound too awful, I guess you could say. No. Alright, anyway, because this is going to lag like absolute crap for whatever reason, maybe it's just OBS can't handle the frames, we're going to go through and play each of these sort of sounds here. So this here is the original melody. Having with... there is reverb and delay on the Serum samples here, so yeah. Now here we have... is it this thing which is making it lag? No. Yes, it is! Aha! Found you. Alright, well we won't play this for too long. I'll show you the wavetable though. I think it's this one. Yes it is. Yeah, so literally just A minor chord. And then it goes to G major, I believe, yeah. A minor to G major, and then back to A minor, and then a C major chord, concert C major chord I should add, because this is not written in treble clef, this is a different clef, not in treble clef. If you know music theory then you might know what I'm talking about, but forgive me if I speak too fast, I'll try and slow down. So yeah, there's this, and then there's that, the laggy piece of crap pad chords there, so that's just literally just a pad, which I've written chords to. This here's a choir, which has been really flushed out sort of thing. It's not quite there, like it's only got a volume at which one is it? Like 60%. Sounds like this. So that's playing in the background as well. I'm just gonna do this. So you can hear that without the chords, without the pad there. So, and when I get to this section, I like doing this where I like to change it up a little bit. I actually make this. I add an extra layer below, so it's the same A minor chord progression, A minor, G major, A minor, C major, same chord progression. It just sounds really nice. I take it down the octave for the second half because usually you take it up, but no, not me. I take it down just because I feel like it's leading to something, and it just sounds like a chord progression. It doesn't sound too, gives like the overall song like. Not too much repetitiveness as well. That's what I like to do. And of course this is just a simple drum loop here. This is just without a kick. Now, well, there, the kick, and then it gets like to here or something. Now, before everyone gets a headache, this here is just this is an EQ which is bringing this up. So we'll just have this bit selected here, and we can talk about this drum loop in a second. But I want to show you this first. So this EQ here, as it's going up, and then it goes all the way down, which I'll probably show here as well. And there we go. And that's the build up towards the first drop, which is here. What's this again? I actually can't remember. It's been a while since I've used this file. This is this is what this is. Okay. So this is originally. Oh god damn it. So this is another sort of what was it called again? A pad. Yeah, this is another pad, but this one's a lot higher and a lot more white noisier. So I had to change that to an audio because it was completely wrecking everything. Like when I mean that, I mean like my frames and such. But yeah. So this is the art we're talking about. I'll show you what's on that. A bit of EQ to stop the lower frequencies here from dominating. There's this as well. Bit of OTT, wave shaper up to the max, because if there's no wave shaper it will just get drowned with everything. And yeah, and reverb. Gotta add that reverb. Now, is there anything else we can talk about? I don't really think we need to talk about these sort of riser things. They're literally they've just got sidechain on them, and that's pretty much it. I like putting sidechain on risers because it sounds really cool. Yeah, okay, we can move on to the drop, I guess. Oh, and also with the automation here, the kick actually loses its volume and then it comes back with this automation here. So this should technically be down here. I don't know why I haven't moved it yet, but whatever. Now, the drop. Obviously, I had to use the everybody jump sample, so we'll play that now. Hang on, we'll play it. Yeah, of course. Famous Timmy trumpet sample right there. Used on meme videos everywhere, so I thought it'd be a pretty cool inclusion. But yeah. Anyway, before we move on, I'm going to show you how I sidechain real quick. So we have our kick here, which is not on because yeah. A5 kick, they're the best. Virtual right ones are overrated. Oh no, not really, but so what we have here is actually I'll go to my actual drum sample. Here we go. This is the drop drum sample. Oh, I almost forgot. I was going to talk about this drum loop. Yeah. You're probably wondering what those random sounds are. Like, what I've done is that sometimes when I use drum loops, I try and make things a little more interesting when because usually it's just like a kick, cymbals, and then a clap and a snare, and that's it. And I thought, you know what? No, well, there's some other gaps here, so I thought I'd throw some other really awkward sounds in there just to make it even more weird, I guess. But yeah, so this is one of them. Just some Foley. I don't know what that is. Supposed to be like a bit of wood touching the ground or something. And this is something from the VR pack. These just sort of click in there and make the ambience a little bit more interesting, I guess. Keeps things interesting. I don't know. I thought it sounded cool. It sounds really awkward on its own, but if you include it in with the entire mix, then it sounds a lot better. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on because we're going to get carried away. Reverse kicks obviously throughout almost the entire track. Now, let's move on. So this sub bass melody here. Now you notice how sub bass has that sort of kick towards it, like that sort of thing. Well, what I did was I actually clicked on the pitch, and I left the decay, and I turned the modulation amount to the right, which makes it go down. So every time a note hits, it'll go down, and then it'll come towards the original key, if you know what that means. So it's sort of like a dubstep what dubstep producers use in their basses. Like, I think Dodge and Fusky is a good example of that, and a few other people as well. Boss Fight I know has used it in the past. But yeah. So it sounds like that. It just gives it a little bit more impact, rather than just like it sounds boring. Like if you have that more impact. I mean, any other person would really not notice the difference, but if you're a producer and you've got good ears and you can sense that sort of thing, then it's gonna make a heap of difference. And yeah, this is our drop. This is our drop sound right here. So what this is 4 serum patches right here. Ignore the 5th one. Ignore the middle one rather. All into one. And yeah, creates a pretty cool drop. We'll just play this a little bit first. And then we'll move on to these famous chord progressions here. So what these are pretty self-explanatory. So this is a I believe it's a inverted what's it called again? Hold on. It's an A minor chord, but the second inversion, which means the top note, which is the E. So you usually have it here. is down below. So it sounds like this. So hang on, I'll just give you a demonstration. Instead of it sounding like this, it sounds like this. Sounds a lot better in my opinion. So we'll just play that again so you can hear the difference. Up here. I personally like it because it feels a lot more connected because it's all grouped up down here with all its low note buddies. So we got. So it's the same here. So that's a 7th chord, that. So, yeah, I think it's a diminished chord, which sounded really cool. I can't remember the name of it, but I know it works really well. I'm not the greatest when it comes to music theory, but I know a little bit of it, so... Yeah. That's pretty cool. What this is actually just an initial preset. I literally did not change a single thing except for the high pass filter, and that's it. And I put some compression, reverb, EQ on there as well. So it doesn't actually sound too bad, because if I tried to put more, I feel like more voices would drain it out and make it sound a lot more crap than it already did. So yeah. So what's playing there is just some EQ to sort of keep some of the louder frequencies low. Oh, that's not what I want to do. This just to get rid of the bass, because if the bass sort of lower end was on there, it'd really crackle and wouldn't sound great. Reverb, of course, can never have too much reverb. OTT and Wave Shaper. Fuck tons of Wave Shaper. Oh, sorry, I probably shouldn't swear. That's very rude of me. So there's this one here, and then there's this one over here, which is exactly the same, but just a different, different melody, sort of. Now this I've just gone with the upper one because I feel like it would sound better rather than being down here, because it has no way to progress to the D if it's from down here. That doesn't sound too bad, but I prefer it if it was just a regular chord. Let's do famous A low note down there, and that repeats all the way over here. Yep. So throughout things get introduced here. Sub bass melody, same old, same old. This is a different version of the drop. I think there are a couple of things with the same. Oh, stop right there. I'm gonna play these two and see if you can spot the difference. And now this one. So there's a little bit of a difference when it comes to the notes. Like this one, da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Well, there are a different couple of sounds in there, is what I'm trying to get at. So, I didn't really want the same drop to repeat twice, because I didn't really. It's the song's long enough. All right, so drum sample is right here. I'm going to show you a little bit about how I made these as well. We're going hard today, fellas. So this is simple EQ, cut off low and high frequencies, so it doesn't sound too muddy. Keep this as like. Bloody just going for it. And yeah, that's sidechain here. I showed you how to sidechain before. Actually, no, did I? No, I didn't. So what this is a duplicate of the first kick. This is on number 1, which is I've named it sidechain. I go to my peak controller, I mute this, I then turn the tension up to 50%, and then I just fix up. I usually fix up everything else later. And where's like the sub bass? Number 2. So number 2 is I have a stereo enhancer here. I right click on the volume and I go link to controller, and then I click on my peak LFO, peak control, and then I invert this. I unclick remove conflicts, and then I go OK, and then you're sidechain pretty much. And you can do that if you have the remove conflicts unticked. You can pretty much just have anything sidechained. It works very well. So yeah, it means you can have like specific things sidechained as well. It works really well. I think this is how Varian use how Varian sidechains in FL Studio. It works really well. And yeah, there are other ways which you can do it, and of course there are other ways you can do it. It's like, but I prefer this way because it's the one that I'm most comfortable with doing. Anyway, so let's carry on. We get introduced to these new melodies here. We'll just play this whole bit here. Alright, so we'll just talk about a couple of things. The cymbals here, I don't really put anything on there because they're mostly pretty good anyway. Don't really need to worry about volume for those. If anything, I can just adjust them on the side. And this is just a shaker that I found on a sample pack which sounded cool. So I threw that in there. Now we'll get to here. Now, let's get into this part here. We've got the vocals yet again. Where are they? Down here. We have... The only thing that's meant to be playing here is this bass note. So this bass note here, along with the automation which is here for EDX10. I use Fruit EDX10 for my sub basses. So what that's doing is simple bass drop really. I use this for everything. So where is it? Pitch. It's modulating the amount here. See, like right here. Pretty groovy. And so I've muted pretty much everything here. And so this is supposed to be that little moment of pause before everything comes in. And we get this sort of part, which is probably my favourite part of the song. It's really groovy. The direction I wanted to take this track was sort of like old Knife Party vibes, and I felt like this was like really, really close onto that. Like even sort of the mastering reminds me of old Knife Party. Which I got told by Athesia and Quest, Cal and Sam, two of my friends, that this reminds them of old sort of Knife Party vibes. So I'm like, let's go, boys. All right. Anyway, let's talk about this part here. I'm gonna play it first so you can enjoy it.
Time is running out for me. Don't you see? Push it to the edge and I'll fall. If you ever fall, let me know. Time only falls if we play it.
Yeah, definitely my favourite part of the whole track, this part here. So, it took me forever to find any sort of, like, what I wanted to do with this, basically. But I originally settled on this sort of melody, so I chopped up... These notes were originally just solid, but then I chopped them up and changed notes around, and I came up with this. I'll just ignore that, that's meant to be the bass drop there, so I'll just play it from here. Actually, better idea. I've got another bass backing here, which is... let's get rid of that. I really like that sort of syncopated melody thing, like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I hear it in so many songs which I love, so I thought I'd try and replicate that here, and I hope I pulled it off. I mean, I'll let you guys decide whether I pulled that off or not. Yeah, so, carry on. Oh yeah. Yeah, that sounds really rough, but it's only for one half note. Yep, drums the same, that's the same. Now, these beautiful chord progressions here. We can play these for a second. Oh, that's not quite what I'm doing. Oh. There we go. I was wondering why I was doing that. It was because the serum was here. Now, on their own, they sound really raunchy, but with the rest of the mix, they come off really cool. Now, originally, I had, as you can see there, the notes here are in a different place. I originally had all these notes at the same spot, so like, I had them here. But I didn't like that, and so I thought, you know what, this needs to be more epic. But these are all the same, but these ones, no. These ones are different. So I'll just play that. Yeah, nah. I think it comes off as a lot more of a groovy melody here. Same sort of chord progressions down, just mess with how these work, and so yeah, you get a really good chord progression. You can do so much with it like this. It's cosmic 7th, so that's a minor 7th chord. That. So yeah, so I believe this one's that, and this one has more white noise. So yeah, just 2 serums. That's all you really need. Just two synth layers. That's all you really need to create a groovy tune. That, some cool progressions, some drums, and a bass line. Easy. Alright, so adjusted the volume on these a little bit. Let's have a look at what I've got. So on 30, pretty much exactly the same. Just free reverb and OTT are swapped for some reason. Yeah, these are pretty much the same as the vocal and synth chords that you've heard earlier. On the same, and on this one they're a little bit different. Like, yeah, because they both come across as different sort of different sounds. So I guess I could play this one without. I guess I could play them without the any effects. So this is what they sound like without effects. Oh, actually, can't hear it. See? Really crap. So thank God all this is here. So simple OTT, just adjusting a few things there. Reverb, nothing to it. Wave shaper. There are different. I had to use different amounts of wave shaper for each because one of them would just dominate and the other one would be like, no, don't you wave away from me, please. Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, so very simple stuff. Even then, it wouldn't have really made a difference. So yeah, I think the last thing we can talk about before we move on is pretty much everything else here is the same. Like, we've heard all this before. That's all in here. There's this sort of vocal chop melody here, which I made in about. It actually took a little while to make this. So we'll play through each of the notes, and I can show you what they are. So basically, this is just the vocal melody, which I've sliced up. So what it is. And now, oh, I should really do this. Notifying pitch. So these two are the same. This one's just pitched up 700 cents. So it sounds like this. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, let's just. Yeah, this one's all the way up here. Simple stuff. What's on these vocal chops? I actually can't remember. Yeah, just some reverb. I made the reverb dry because it was too. If it was, I'm gonna say it, too wet. It wouldn't sound as good, so I did this. It's not gonna stand out at all. Reverb, OTT, and a lot of wave shaper. Wave shaper can go no wrong. I don't actually have sausage fat now. I should probably get it. Anyway, let's carry on. Actually, I'm gonna play this part without the vocals because the vocals sort of, they sort of drive through this this part of the song, and that's what was intended because the vocals are the main part of the song anyway. So that and the infectious melody which you hear throughout the tune. All right, let's go. Alright, so, yeah, really groovy. I really enjoy that. Sometimes it's nice to hear it without vocals. I quite like instrumental songs. But, yeah, anyway. Let's move on. So, this is the same laggy-ass thing. So we're just going to skip over this part because it's pretty much just a little breakdown. That at the beginning as well. From the beginning, this is where sort of the drums kick off. And I sort of added a little layer of drums here, so this is the same pattern as this one, which is just the side chains. We just added that over here. And then we can just play this little build up here so I can show you. Oh, we'll go from here. I wanted this to act as if this was the drop and fool people. I don't think it worked. But that's okay. It doesn't really matter. So what we got here, simple build-up thing. Simple snare clap, snare kick thing. Oh, of course it doesn't. Alright. That's why I didn't want to do... Okay, where's pattern 11? Where's pattern 11? I'm not going to show the bass thing, but I'm just going to put that in there. There we go. So what is happening here? Very simple. It is the master pitch which is going down. The reason I changed that is because the master pitch does not affect audio files, so it doesn't affect this. It just affects what's happening here. So we'll just play this part here. So this is sort of, for the first sort of half bar, and it goes down, and it comes back up again, and then from here, it's back to normal, and then we have this chord. Now, this was originally a mistake which I made because I originally had the C down here and I moved it up here for whatever reason for this pattern, and I thought that actually sounds better, so I decided to keep it. Why would I just try and fix it when it just sounds better that way? So it's 3 octaves. Very, very nice chord progression, which surprisingly didn't take that long because of the other one. I just went off the original sort of style, and yeah, I made this simple thing. Very easy. It's the same exact init preset there, with the exact same effects as on 29. And yeah, let's carry on. So this sort of stops there. Yep, very simple, and then we just keep going. And then here's the other one, I'll just show you. Now, I originally had it as just these 3, but that's like looked a little bit empty, so I might just mute all these. So it originally sounded like this, which is pretty much exactly the same as what it was before. And so then I added in the low part, I believe, yeah. And I'm like, that still doesn't sound right, so I added in this part here. And I've turned the frequency, the velocity down on the top part because it just bursts your eardrums if it's on the. Yeah, it's quite it's quite deafening, I will admit. Where's the other one? It was here somewhere. Oh, actually no, it's not. It's fine. And yeah, so sort of this one's here. This one's sort of normal. I didn't really want the 2 octave to sort of show up as much as this middle part here. So, ooh, ow, that's very loud. Sorry about that. Yeah. So I created that velocities moving down sort of thing, and yeah, pulled it off pretty well. I can put this back, I think. Yeah. Exactly the same drop, exactly the same part. We're going to skip over all of that. Just going to get into this part. Now this is the exciting part. This is when it gets into the dubstep part. So here's the, I think this is the drum mate for this. I use a different kit. So that's the snare drum, phase 1 snare. Absolutely kicks ass. I absolutely love it. I use it in I've used it in a couple of songs now. This is the, yeah, that's the kick. This is the AU5 dubstep kick. It's awesome. I love it. On its own it sounds like this, but I had to change a few things. So yeah, it's pretty much the same. Classic dubstep rhythm there. So now this is the fun part. Where is pattern number 4? Up here. So now, really the only things we could talk about is pretty much exactly the same sort of stuff here, like the infamous melody which you hear all the time. These chords here are a little different. So it's the same patches, same layers, just different melody, I guess. Exactly the same notes, exactly the same progressions, just a different way of writing them, I guess. So yeah, now I originally had them like this, because now this is just awful. Hang on, let's just mute the other one. Which one? Let's mute that for the moment. I originally had them like this. That's wrong. Alright, so let's take it back here. So, yeah, I originally had them like that, and I was like, that's absolutely sucks. So, what I usually like to do, a little bit of a trick I do, is I select a lot of these, and I just bring them out a little bit. Oh, bring this one out as well. There we go. Oh, I forgot to do this one. Ah! Bear with me. Oh dear. That's embarrassing. Yep. Cool. Same thing over and over. And yeah, so carries on. What these things here, this is the automation for the bass dropping, so when you hear... I'm just going to play this. Yeah, simple. I don't know if you heard any of that, but whatever. So yeah, we can just carry on with this. Actually, I think this is a different part of the vocal sample. Yeah, it is. Just give me a second. This one's on 25. So this is what I originally had the vocals at. I originally had them with OTT, a little bit of reverb, and a crap ton of wave shaper. And the OTT was sort of really like full on. It just sounds like this. So we can compare these two. This sounds like this.
Don't you see?
a lot louder because this is chock-a-block full of stuff, and so if we don't have the vocals even at that volume, it's probably not loud enough. But yeah, so I guess that's really all I can show you. Just the last bits, just classic impacts here, just some of the sounds which you don't really need to hear or know about because you've all heard these before. Cymbals right here, rising cymbal, and a crash. Everything here, so there's melody playing here, drums, bass line. You can really hear when that choir hits. I just absolutely love that. So we'll play from part 8. Alright, so the only real thing we can talk about is this bit of a meme that I kind of made up at the end, because I originally had it just ending just here, like it would have ended right here, just before the 6-minute mark. But I'm like, you know what? It's called Timefold. There are a lot of memers on the label, so I thought, you know what? Let's just add this. I'm gonna play it for you right now. Rises. We've got a bass sound from E5. We've got a legit alarm clock sound, literally just an alarm clock sound. And then we have this thing, which is an ice crack from Direct's Foley pack, or from his entire sample pack, basically. It's just this thing. And then we have a clip from the first Harry Potter movie.
Get up!
No!
And we have this final bass drop here. Yeah, and that's pretty much the entire track. Now, it sucks because there was a little bit of there was a little bit of stuff happening outside of the sample which I didn't really want to include. I just wave shaved the hell out of that. With this, when she says "get up now," I thought it'd be pretty funny, so I dropped "now" down 900 cents, and I just moved it accidentally. Whoops. Hang on. Oh yeah, let's just move that back. Come on, don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. There we go. So it's down 900 cents. So it sounds like this. Oh god, it actually sounds quite distorted when you play it like that.
No! No!
And when she hits the door again, asking Harry to get up, that's when the sort of thing hits here. But yeah, thought that was sort of a nicest way to end it, I guess. Yeah, for the meme, I suppose. Yeah. Oh goodness, that was a disaster. Alright, well, I'm just going to save that. Now, what I can do is I can show you this sort of part here. I can show you a little bit of the original where I started going from it. Because I think there are more versions. There are more versions of this. Yeah, save it. Alright, so let's have a look. You're going to see some embarrassing projects here. Where is it? Here we go. So we have Timefold beginning, a VIP, the drop. That was a different drop, which I can show you. I think I will. And everything else is, I think, that's just a different version of this, which is pretty much the same. So we'll have a look at the beginning. I think it's pretty much, this is the original file, as far as I know. Sorry, forgive me. This vid's going to be very, very long. Yeah, this is actually the original file, which I saved again. So I won't break down the original today. I just want to go through the beginning. Jeez, this vid's going to go for like an hour. How long have we got? We've gone for almost 50 minutes. Okay, that's okay. We've got 10 minutes left, and then we'll get off. So got to stretch everything. So give it a little bit of time. This is my message to Gabe after I finish the song from my end. Like, I finished the song, the original song, this is, last year. As you can see, I have very good instructions. Just fucking have fun with it, mate. That was me last year in a nutshell. I was thinking that was almost a year ago since I started working on this. Like 10 months ago, I started working on the original tune. Oh, and we've lost a few things. Pattern 38 WAV. That's okay. That's alright. I don't think. So this is the original file here. So this is the start. So now we can actually see what we're working with. Now, because this is going to load my computer like hell. So I'm not going to play through this entire thing, but you get the picture. So this is the synth which I made, a lead sound which I made in Serum a little while back, and it's just a simple melody. So it's a so this is, well, like I said, this is an inverted A minor chord, which I put the C on top here, so. And what it has on here is just a crap ton of reverb, like multi-band compression, as well as some OTT. So yeah, there's that. This is super awesome kick stuff. Yeah, simple drum loop as well. I really like this kick. It's got some it's really punchy. Yeah, I was quite proud of that. Now where's the? I think this is the. Oh, this wasn't the 808. Oh, damn it. Okay, so what I did was I shaped this to sound like an 808, but it's actually just another one of these, but it's a lot more sort of punchy. Sort of that. I did try make it in an 808 once. I think it's here. No. I'll just leave a bunch of that. A lot of these sounds are really old, like a bunch of these. I made these using the back when I was still learning how to use Serum, so a lot of old sounds here from the original. But yeah, so we'll have I think look at another version. No, don't worry about saving that. Where is, here it is. I think this is we'll have a little look about the cringy ass version of this to finish off with, of the first. I can't remember how I made it. I'm pretty sure it was the same one, or it might have been different. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll show you anyway. Alright, come on. Chop chop, let's go. Hurry up. Did this have the vocals in it as well? Okay, so I actually originally started with this. Oh. So this is what was probably going to be the final project, but I scrapped that and started again. So glad I went with did not go with this because it's terrible. Obviously it's nowhere near finished, but it will never be finished, so yeah. But yeah, this was originally what was going to sound like. Obviously, it's nowhere near finished. Like, it would have sounded a lot more professional than it did here. But yeah, I'm really glad we went with the new project. Yeah, I had to turn this off because it's like super laggy. And I think that's pretty much all I can show you. Like, we've been through the entire project. It's getting up to the hour mark, so I'm gonna stop right here. I've gone way over the time I was hoping to do this, but yeah. No, definitely not. It's not. Yeah, it's this amazing wallpaper. Gabe made this. It's amazing. I really like it. I live there, as you can see. Anyway, sorry. That's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. If you learned something, which I'm pretty sure you didn't, but if you liked what you saw, then let me know. Maybe I'll do some more of these. This was really weird. I don't usually do this sort of thing, so forgive me if it's not quite what you like enjoy. I just thought I'd give it a go because so many people are doing it now. I think even Gabe's doing it, like a few others as well. But yeah, if you enjoyed the song, thanks. All the positive comments have been so supportive, so thank you so much for the support and the love as well. Also, check out the other remixes on there; they're awesome. Go and check them out. Yeah, you won't regret it. Well, I hope you don't. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me today. If you have any questions or if you want to just chill out, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Discord. All of that stuff is in the link below, or in the links below rather. Ugh, I'm not very good at doing YouTube. Yeah. That's it. Thank you everyone so much for watching. My name is AWB. Have a good day and happy producing. Goodbye.